Okay. Recording in progress. All right. I am thrilled to welcome Alisa to the Sasaka podcast. So please tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, Helen. Thank you for having me here. My name is Arisa Ido, and right now I am doing I'm community producer at Stanford Social Innovation Review Japan, which is a media. We are going to launch it hopefully this winter. So it's not started yet. And so we are like this kind of startup that right now we are thinking, what is our vision and mission and all those kind of things. And so exciting moments.
I love that. I love being like part of a story right at the beginning and then seeing how it's going to develop. So but yeah, this is great. And also, I know that you've had a fascinating past, your career up to date, so we can get more into that in a moment as well. First of all, though, word of the year. What comes to mind for you as a word of the year?
Yes, I was deeply thinking about it. And I think my word of the year is synergize.
And why is that?
The reason why I chose this word is because right now we are in a very small group, which is about 6-7 people trying to start this media. And actually, even though I was in a company before too, but I was more working individually. But right now it's more like teamwork. And actually, this is like my first time to actually think everything and do everything as a team. And there was this moment that there was a big task that I had to do. And I felt that I cannot do it just by myself. But I was afraid to say that because I did it before. I tried to do everything individually. So I was not used to say that maybe this is, I want to need help. But my teammate told me that, Arisa, if you just tell the truth and if you feel uncomfortable doing just by yourself, you have to say that. And that is why we are a team. And that's when I thought that, working as a team is quite nice. And I have to learn how to work as a team. And then if we did our best in our team, I think that it will come up as a really great result. And as a community producer also, building up communities for this media, I think that synergize will be a big key for the community too, and also for our team. So I chose this word, synergize.
I love that. There's so much what I see in Japan, in the corporate world is, and especially as people get more senior, it's almost like they feel they have to take all the responsibility themselves and they get scared to ask for help. And that's, to me, it's so mottainai. I used to be in that place as well. I didn't want to, it felt like showing a weakness if I was asking for help. But now I look back at those times and think, wow, if I just asked for a bit of support with this, a bit of input from other people, it would have made life so much easier for me, but also then led to better results. Right. So I love that. And that idea of synergy, of like bringing all of the strengths of the different people together. Thank you. Love it. So when we look at the Sasaka success cycle and the 4 phases around self-care, planning, communication, and productivity, what's one that you would like to focus on today, where you can tell us a story that maybe you've had some struggles with it and learned some lessons around it?
Well, first, when I saw these 4 phases, I thought everything is very, very important. And it was hard for me to choose. But if I have to choose one, I think I will choose phase 1, care for you, the importance of self-care for your success.
And what causes you to say that?
I think I chose this because before I started working here at Stanford Social Innovation Review Japan, I was at Forbes, and before that I started my media career at HuffPost Japan. Also American liberal media, and it's a Japanese version. And when I joined there, I started my own project called Ladies Be Open. And that was a very, very big life-changing experience for me for starting that project. Usually when media starts a big special, they start to interview very, very famous people so that people can get the project can get more attention. Yes. And actually we were trying to do that. We were trying to interview celebrities in Japan for bringing this message called Ladies Be Open, which it means that there are so many taboos about women bodies, for example, periods and all other body issues. So we want to bring this kind of story openly and discuss about it with the readers. So then I talked with my boss how to start this project, and he asked me, like, why don't you start with your own story? And I remember that at that time I had very, very heavy period pain, which was like, I wrote that on my blog, and I wrote like, there is this professional boxer called Sam in my womb, and every month he starts his lesson. He starts his lesson, and even though I tried to stop him, like, hey Sam, calm down. You don't have to be a professional boxer. You can just be a yoga instructor. But but he I don't know, maybe he wants to be in the Olympics or something, but he tries his best to like punch my womb so badly. And so I started this project with my own story, that I have a very heavy period pain. And not just that, but I at the time I told my boss about that. And I told him that I want to change my work style. Before I couldn't say that I have a heavy period pain. I just said that I'm feeling ill to my boss. I couldn't say the truth because I thought it's a taboo, and I shouldn't say that thing as word. But when I say that to him, he was surprised. Of course, it was his first time that his team member said that kind of thing to him. But then after that, he studied about it. He read so many books about it, and he realized that it's not a problem of individual, but it's a problem of society. And it leads to women empowerment. So the whole story became the launch of the project. And that's when I thought self-care was very, very important. And if I show that I am doing self-care by saying that I have a very heavy period pain to my boss, it led to that story became very, very popular. And I received so many emails and messages that saying that actually it was a good advice, so I'm going to tell my boss too. Or like another boss said that I will try to be more open about it carefully, because it might lead to sexual harassment. So they wanted to find a good communication, and then the self-care became like a society care. So that's why I chose this phase 1 self-care as a very important key factor for me.
I love that. I mean, it's such a difficult issue. Now, what would you say to women? There's women listening to the Sasaka podcast right now, and they have their own Sam the Boxer who comes around every month. And they'd like, I can't mention this to my boss. Like, what would you say to them?
I don't want to force anyone to tell their boss. The boss sometimes will be very, it's not like all the boss can understand your problem, unfortunately. So if you feel a little comfortable about talking about it, maybe you can try. But first, maybe start with someone that you can really, really trust.
Right.
And that could be your partner or your best friend or your family, maybe your dog, maybe. Start from that. Or a gynecologist. And I realized that talking with gynecologists is very, very helpful too, but not always the gynecologist is helpful. Sometimes I heard so many stories that they had bad experience with that. So don't think that the gynecologist you go first is the best one. So you can try another and another. So yes, so you can not just the boss, but you can start from a person that you can really trust.
And it could be, as you say, someone outside work, but also maybe somebody in work, like
your colleagues.
Yeah, close colleagues. Yeah, probably just talking is going to add that initial stage of relief.
Yes, you will. By talking it, you will realize how badly it affected you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if you don't talk about it, you just take it for granted and think that this is a usual thing. But maybe there will be something bad in your womb and you can fix it. Or there will be another solution, taking pills or like resting at your house, or there will be so many options if you talk about it. So I won't force anyone, but it could be an option.
Yeah. And I also wonder how much, just general stress makes it worse. I mean, I've experienced that. So if you are taking on the problem all yourself, then that increases your stress levels. Whereas if you do start to find people who will listen and are supportive, that can ease the stress, and that can help as well.
Yes.
Wow, I love that. And so this is great that you've become passionate about talking about periods, which is something that a lot of people don't talk about.
Yes.
And it's kind of interesting in Japan as well, because Japan, I don't know, I think it's fairly unusual that Japan actually has holidays for that.
That's true. It's in the law.
Right?
Yes.
I was so surprised because I found this out purely by accident in my fairly early days in Japan. And I was working for a company, and my parents were coming over. I'm going to keep this totally, I'm not going to mention the company name or anything. But my parents were coming over, and I wanted to take some holiday, but I didn't have enough actual, holidays. And I spoke with my boss, and he's like, well, Helen, you haven't taken any of your special days. And I was like, my what? He's like, your special days. No, what special days? Your special days every month. I was like, I have special days every month. And he's like, you haven't taken any, so you can take a couple of those as well, and then that will make up your. So, oh wow, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah. So some bosses can be very, very understanding, like even like, overly understanding in a sense.
Special days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is not really special because it's ongoing every month.
Right. Exactly. So you had this big project where you basically, so you're saying that instead of it being like the big famous person, it was basically your story that started off the campaign.
Yes.
And how did you feel about that?
Well, the day before I published that article, I was at the time I was talking with my partner at the time, and then I told him like I couldn't talk to my boss about it, and now I'm talking to everyone about my period. So it's a whole jump.
Yeah.
And actually, it was quite, I wouldn't say I was 100% confident about it. I had some threat. No, it's not threat. I was a little scared about it. But after I published my article, the scariness was all gone, and there were more positive. I didn't receive any negative comments or those negative reactions, but I just received so many positive reactions, even though it was like the story became popular. And so I was really happy about it. And also my grandmother messaged me on that day, and she told me, "Arisa, you are the hope of women, and thank you so much for speaking out about it." And then I thought I did the best.
Wow. And your grandmother's Japanese, right?
She is Japanese.
Right. Wow. So that's really significant, especially coming from like the older generation and more sort of traditional.
Yes. And she became a big fan of me.
Well, I'm sure she was a big fan of your sister.
So every event that I spoke, she tried to come and listen.
Oh, brilliant.
Yes. So I was really happy about that.
I love that. So tell us about another of your projects, which that I found fascinating, was your Suppiniki.
Yes, Suppiniki is, if you translate it, it's no makeup diary. Suppin means no makeup in Japanese. And this is also the Ladies Be Open project. It's included. And it started from one article that I read, and it said that the author was living in Germany. She's Japanese, and she was confused with the fact that not many German women were wearing like heavy makeups when they were working or when they're studying. And although in Japan, especially in Tokyo, every woman is wearing makeup, like perfect makeup. And she thought that it's kind of a high pressure. But if you think about it, there's no law that you have to wear makeup. And people just say that it's manner to wear makeup, although most of the men doesn't.
Right. Manners for women, but not for men. Yeah.
So she bring up that fact, and she thought she bring up that issue. And when I read that, I thought, oh, I never thought about that. I was wearing makeup for granted, and I didn't really think that what will happen if I have no makeup. That was also kind of scary and embarrassing first when I thought, but I thought that, okay, why don't I just phrase it as a no makeup diary and make it a project, so it has more fun, and it's an experiment for me, for my life, and for my job too. So I didn't tell anyone in my company even my boss. And from day 1 to day 30, I wore no makeup, and I recorded as a diary. And then after 1 month, I told everyone that I was wearing no makeup for 1 month, and it was part of my project. So I'm going to publish an article about it. And everybody was surprised. And my boss was like, I didn't realize that.
Right?
That was quite shocking for me too, but
yeah, well, that's the thing, is like, people as human beings, we're so focused on ourselves, and we're worried about some little thing, and other people just don't notice at all a lot of the time.
That is true.
Yeah.
So it was a very fun, entertaining experience for me, and the 30 days, I enjoyed it a lot. And the conclusion was that it didn't affect my productivity at all, even though I didn't wear any makeup.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, maybe not wearing a makeup is also could be an option.
Yeah. Totally.
And it doesn't. I didn't want to at this time too. I didn't want to force anyone not wearing makeup. I just wanted to say there's an option.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't feel like wearing makeup that day, you don't have to.
Yeah.
And if you feel like wearing makeup, and if it makes you feel better, just wear it. And sometimes you make the rules for yourself and limit your options. But if you do some experiments, it's a simple thing. There will be like more and more options to live your life.
Exactly.
And just doing that no makeup diary, I realized that. And I said that you can define your freedom by yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of the freedom, the options, having choice, and what feels good for you. Like I've gone through so many different phases when it comes to makeup. When I was in school, when I was like 15 years old, I used to wear so much makeup.
Oh, really?
I wore so much makeup. And then there was a time when, going through university, and I had a boyfriend at the time who really wasn't a makeup fan, and I stopped wearing makeup completely. So it's been like all these different influences. And then there was also a point years ago when I was doing some, working as a trainer in professional development workshops. And the person in charge one day said to me, it's like, Helen, you have no makeup on today.
Oh, wow.
And
that was direct.
I was really surprised, because the way he was saying it was an expectation, as you mentioned earlier, that it's manners for a woman to wear makeup for the audience, kind of thing. And I was quite shocked by that attitude. And then I've also gone through the stage, because a couple of years ago I went through this the style coaching journey, and then I learned all about other aspects of makeup, and like wearing bright lipstick and stuff like that. And now for me, it's about whatever I want to do for me, what makes me feel good. So I'm quite happy. Like, I have makeup on today. I am putting the makeup on today because I enjoy putting the makeup on today. I'm not doing it for anybody else, because that's what I want to do. And then there are other days, well, I will quite happily, be on video, doing a live video, and I'll have no makeup on, because I want to be, I don't want to have the makeup on that day. So having that flexibility and that choice, and doing what feels good for you is what is very important to me.
That's really great.
Yeah. So did you, when you said you did the diary, was it just writing, or were you like taking photos of yourself or anything like that?
Yes, I took some photos of myself wearing no makeup. And so I was totally open about it. And but I wrote 30 articles, so each day I wrote something. Wow. And what happened on that day. So if you can just Google search Supin Nikki, all the 30 articles will be there.
Link. We'll link to that. That's great.
And you can find, I did one like very funny experience that I asked this kind of a photographer to take photos of me without the makeup, but it had to look like advertisement on magazines.
Oh, brilliant.
Yes. So like with all the like my dirty skin, with the dirty skin, but it had to look like advertisement. So we put the lights, 2 lights, and he took like about 2,000 photos of me.
2,000.
And we were all sweaty, but that article is there too. So
oh my goodness. All right, we'll be linking to that in the show notes. Now, something else that I want to definitely link to in the show notes, because we've spoken before, and you shared with me some very, very special videos. So I want to just move on to that. Your work-life balance related project. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So after working at Forbes for 2.5 years, I moved to Forbes Japan, which is also American media. And then I was also doing a project, and which is called もっと一緒にいたかった, which means I wanted to be with you more. And that was, the theme was about paternity leave. And at that time, only 6% of the men were taking paternity leave, even though they have the right to take it. And so this work-life balance, the CEO of Work-Life Balance, Komuro-san, was trying to bring this issue up. And she wanted to encourage more companies, CEOs, to let their staffs to take the paternity leave. And she asked me like how to bring the message to many people. And I told her that Forbes is a media that a lot of business leaders are reading, so maybe we can help that. And that project was, we asked about 7 CEOs, all are male, and they are in their 50s and 60s, to tell their regret that they couldn't be with their child when they were born or when they were small. Because if they tell that their company is encouraging, if they just told that their company is encouraging their staffs to take paternity leave, to tell the truth, no one will listen. Because if CEO was just saying positive things, people will directly think, oh, it's just advertisement. But if they tell their regrets, and if they tell their personal story, people will listen. And I wanted to bring their personal stories. So I put that project saying I wanted to be with you more. So that even though they are the CEOs, they are the business leaders, you could see that they are one father. A human being, actually. So if I just bring their human being side, and they started just talking about it openly, and they said that in the next generation they should not regret like us. And that 7 stories also became very, very popular, and so many people tweeted and shared and talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll link to the video in the show notes, and I would say get your tissues ready, because it was like it's so emotional. Oh my goodness, to me, just and I really admire how open those gentlemen were. Absolutely wonderful.
So I think that Ladies Be Open and that project also links, because it starts from the subject what I feel, what I experience. And those personal stories have so much big power. And it will lead to a social innovation, I guess. And that links to my work right now.
Exactly. It all comes together.
Yes, I didn't really expect that, but then when I think about it and reflect about it, this Stanford Social Innovation Review, our key message is 主語を私に戻す, which means bring the subject back to I. And maybe it sounds a bit weird in English, because every sentence starts from I when you talk about yourself. But in Japanese, you can not say I and just start from the verb. So sometimes you don't know if you want to do that or others want to do that.
What's the subject?
What's the subject? And when you think about social problems, social issues, social innovation, people tend to talk about them or her or him or they. But what do you want to do? The key thing is that what is important for you. And all those projects that I did started from I. My period problem, my supiniki, and also the movie project was from CEO's I perspective. So I truly believe that all those big changes starts from the strong I.
Wonderful. I love it so much. I love these stories, and I love how it all comes together. It's like Steve Jobs, his story of when you look back and you can join the dots, right? It's
connecting the dots, exactly. So I should talk at Stanford too about
totally.
that.
With no makeup.
With no makeup.
Definitely. I love it. Okay, so as we're getting towards the end of this episode, I have some spontaneous questions, just a few quick questions for you.
Okay.
And then also, if you've got anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners and those watching the YouTube or the video version of this, you can share that as well. So quick questions. One that I often ask, and I especially want to ask you because of your background, is favorite book.
Favorite book. So many. Recently I read this book called 最高の集い方. It's an English book. Its English name is, I think, The Art of Gathering.
Oh, interesting.
And actually our editor-in-chief edited that before. And it's a very great book. If you look at the cover is also really good, but also inside it says that all the gathering has a purpose, even small ones to very big ones. And if you think about the purpose, and there is an art of gathering, so it shows how the author created this very special atmosphere of the gathering. And as a community producer, I learned so much from that book. So I would say that's my favorite book of the year.
Wow, and definitely so connected with what you do as well.
Yes.
I love that. So what's your favorite day of the week?
Favorite day of the week. This week.
Any week. In general, week. Or it could be this week.
there's so many special things going on right now, so
that's
hard
great.
to pick.
That's great. What's special? What's okay? We can be spontaneous and we can tweak the question. What's special right now?
What's special right now is that we are building this new media and new community, and every discussion is special, I guess. Every discussion we have special ideas. We notice the special side of the teammates, and we have everything like new, and every discussion we know more about ourselves and themselves. So I guess right now what I'm doing as a job is very special.
Great. And that also links to what you were saying about the team as well. And
yes,
and the synergy. It all just connects so well. All right, let's see if this
Thank you for editing everything.
Did a lot of editing on this episode.
Yes, but
okay, let's see if this connects in any way whatsoever. What's your favorite place to be?
Right now, I love nighttime walks in Tokyo. And so after 8 o'clock, most of the shops, restaurants are closed.
Right
now in Tokyo because of the corona COVID-19. And so it's very quiet and very different atmosphere from of course, the daytime. So I sometimes arrange this night walk with my really close friend. And we just walk for hours sometimes.
Wow.
Yes. And it's just so special. It's like just 2 or 3 of us in the world, but we talk about deep topics. And so I like the night times of Tokyo outside.
I love that so much. Okay, I'm inspired now. I want to go on some. I sometimes pop out, especially when it's like a full moon or a super moon. I love to do that. But yeah, I like that idea of the night walks. Wonderful. Okay, so is there anything else that you would like to share with our Sasaga podcast listeners and viewers today?
Well, I guess that this Stanford Social Innovation Review Japan that I am doing right now is going to be, and already now is a very, very exciting project. So if you are interested in, you can just Google it. And then we have this website, very simple website, and you can apply to pre-members. Ooh. And it's for free, and you get very cute newsletter every week, which is called Monkey Radio.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't sound Stanfordish. We have very, very fun, exciting topics there. So if you are interested, you can just Google search and apply to that pre-member.
Great. And this is all in Japanese, yeah?
Sorry, it's all in Japanese.
There's no need to apologize. Yeah, that's great. We can and we'll link to that in the show notes as well. This
Thank you so much.
Show notes are going to be jam-packed with
that's
all
true.
Sorts of fabulous.
The last one is the most important one.
Okay, well, put the highlights around that one. Okay, yeah, so definitely. So I really want to put out a heartfelt request to listeners and viewers. Clearly you've heard what amazing things Arisa is doing here, and with the rest of the team as well. I'm just going to give a little special shout out to Sakai Suzuki, who I know is on the team and who introduced me to Arisa, and I'm tremendously grateful for that. So I know you've got like such fabulous people, and you're going to be doing wonderful things and connecting people in an amazing way too. So really looking forward to that, and I'm going to go and have a look and make sure I get signed up as a pre-member as well.
Yay. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, Helen.
Make it a really joyful day. Thank you.
You too.